Yo. So, welcome to episode 6 of Hoser Hot. See, we need microphones.
We do.
We actually need like the little ones that like actual sports people have.
Right.
Today's episode is brought to you clearly by Babsocks, not a sponsor, but hit us up, DM us. You know, we live in the 21st century now. It's a thing.
You know, first of all, if you can see that, look at that.
I mean, look at his gorgeous hairy legs, but look at the socks first of all.
Oh my god, I got these recently, and I think everyone pretty much in hockey circles, especially in the Toronto area, knows about Babsocks. It's a great initiative. Proceeds go to this is the November. This is the November edition.
The normal proceeds just go to their pockets, but this.
Oh god, no.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to edit that.
No,
anyway. So the proceeds is actually for November. Goes to the Movember Foundation in support of mental health programming and resources for minor athletes. Both great causes. The box is really cool. They had here.
I didn't know Movember was doing mental health things. I thought it was just more male, like, prostate cancer.
I don't know.
Whatever. Yeah,
whatever.
Good cause.
He's got a mustache, and then you open the box. I love the box. I'm actually going to keep the box.
I mean, it probably cost them like 10 cents to make.
So 1 in 5 Canadians suffer in silence. So when you think about, Kevin's suffering right now.
Yeah.
When you think about that on my team, that means it affects 4 or 5 alone. That's actually, I like that.
Is that a direct quote?
It's a direct quote.
Quote? Let's go with quote.
Quote from Babs. So they're very comfortable socks. Actually, I don't actually.
How much were they? Or they were given to you?
Well, my mom got them. My mom got them for me.
My man got them.
I think
good job, man.
For I think $15.
For a single pair of socks.
Yeah, but it's also a donation too.
Yeah, but are they comfy though?
They're very comfy. I don't usually. So all my socks are black or navy blue.
Because only he wears, like, you could wear this with like black loafers.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
but I never buy themed or colored socks. So this is the first time.
I mean, it's a black sock.
Well, yeah.
Unless you pull your fucking leg up, you're gonna see his face there.
So then from now on, I'm just gonna do this. I'm just gonna walk around.
Just wear capris. So like,
right. Exactly.
Yeah, very effeminate.
Exactly.
Which is a bad thing.
75% cotton, 25% spandex. You could feel it.
Yeah, that's.
I like them. They're very comfortable.
Well, you know what? You have Mike Babcock's face literally at your ankles, just like he's there.
We've seen them though at the ACC.
The Babsocks?
We've seen them, yeah.
Selling them, or people just wearing them?
People wearing them. We saw that. I saw that. You even pointed it out to me.
No, I think you probably pointed it out to me because it's just like you're. And let's just straighten that shirt out.
Of course, they're still pimping. I'm still a little shocked.
You didn't pose like in your picture, man. Like that's like.
What do you mean? I didn't pose.
Remember, like in your first Instagram post.
Oh right.
Like repping Vegas, episode 1, man. God damn, that was already like a month. I mean, we're committed at this point, man. Like we're already a month. More than that. Fantastic, man. Well, so Matt is probably smoking a J or something.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
Well, actually, we have to preface this. Matt's in Mexico for 2 weeks, and
not Jamaica. So that's okay. Yeah. So he's sipping a margarita or something. I clearly don't know.
He did send me a picture of his dessert the other day.
Which was?
I don't remember. But it looked good.
Hey, Matt, when you're watching this, Michael clearly pays attention to you. But, yeah, so he's gone. We're returning to a video format now. Because I really want to bring Mock back secretly, but I thought, you know what, this is the only way we're going to do it now, is just masquerading around as Hoser Hockey Hour, which is totally fine. And you know what, shout out to the person that disliked our last video, fuck you.
Oh my God.
How dare you have a different opinion than us in the 21st century? Like, how dare you, sir?
Or man.
No, it's probably a man. Like, let's be real. Like, it's going to be probably like some internet troll, but that's fine. So we thought, you know what, let's bring you...
Or maybe like a jealous ex-girlfriend. You're running through all of them now.
Which one? God, who would have thought looking like this, man? Oh, well, I mean, man, we're not gonna go there. That's just gonna bury me even deeper. So yeah. 2 things I didn't want you to do today: swear and give the bird. And you somehow did both in like a span of like 2 minutes. Yeah, this is what happens when you don't have the censor. But yeah, so we thought we'd do something a little bit different today. We're going to have this idea where actually you came up with this Mount Rushmore.
Yes, I did. Yes, I was actually going to save it, but for when we did our actual...
But no one listens to that, so we're hoping that maybe more people watch this so people will actually hear our opinion, right? No. Yeah, that's good. That's close enough, right? It's such a face slapper. Okay. But yeah, so for those who don't know, Mount Rushmore is a mountain, I forget in what state, but it has 4 presidents, Washington being one of them, and I think, oh my god.
3 others.
I think.
3 others.
Roosevelt and Obama, yeah. So,
and then Trump's going to be the 5th one.
Yeah, they're just going to put that on there. Making America great again, folks. So, and you know what? It's amazing. A year after his election, we're still talking about it like it happened yesterday.
You're the only one that brings it up.
You brought it up.
But, I brought up Trump. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. All right. I'm gonna censor myself there. So, so what in your opinion is the point of having this conversation?
So it's very interesting. I don't know. I thought about this the other day, and like I said, we were going to save it, but Matt's going to be in Mexico, and I didn't want to wait that long to have this conversation. And we could always ask him when he comes back.
I mean, we probably could, but yeah, who knows, right? If we're still even doing this by then. But anyway, yeah.
Hey, we're slowly getting followers, so thank you. So I was just thinking about Mount Rushmore, and I was like, if hockey had a Mount Rushmore, who would you go with? And I thought...
So who would be like the ambassadors of the sport?
Yeah.
Like in their heyday.
Well, not in their heyday, but just in general. Like it'd be like 4 people that encapsulates
what hockey means,
the history, and all that. Yeah. And so Kevin and I just went through our list. I have
literally like 5 minutes ago. Yeah.
I went through a couple of my honorable mentions with him. We'll get to that later. So we're gonna go. We'll go.
No, start with you because it's your idea. So you'll start with your first pick, and then we go back and forth until we list off our 4, and then you guys are gonna listen to us because you're watching this video. So who is your number 1?
Wayne Gretzky.
Clearly, not Sidney Crosby. Wayne Gretzky, the OG.
2,857 points in the regular season.
Now has a winery, Niagara. Like he's loving.
Kevin is dying to talk about.
His wife is not his wife. Sorry, his daughter's really hot. Paulina Gretzky. Like she's got it. But yeah. So why does Gretzky encompass? What does Gretzky mean to you in terms of hockey?
Well, first of all, he is arguably the greatest player of all time. 61 records, either he has by himself or tied with others. He is the all-time great. Retired 99 throughout the entire league. How many scoring titles does that guy have? There's nothing else to say about the man.
No, there isn't. It's like what Michael Jordan is to hockey is what Gretzky is to... what Jordan is to basketball is what Gretzky is to hockey. That would be fucking weird. But yeah, no, like that. You know what? And that's my pick for...
I just have another thing. And also his trade to Los Angeles has all these teams in the Sun Belt now.
Yeah.
So
right there. Yeah, shout out to your girlfriend, man. Too soon. It's only been a month. Oh, fuck. But no, like, my pick would probably be... Get it together, man.
I'm sorry.
Get it together.
I'm telling her I'm sorry.
She watches this, clearly.
She probably... No, she doesn't.
No. So, my pick would probably be yours, too. Gretzky. Well, not probably. It is. Gretzky. For a kid who literally just got into the sport 6 years ago... The only thing I pretty much knew about hockey was Wayne Gretzky and Sidney Crosby, and Crosby's kind of a bitch. So we're going to go with Gretzky for all the reasons you mentioned, scoring titles, number retired across the league, was responsible for hockey spreading, especially in California and the southern states.
Yes.
Responsible for just hockey as a global phenomenon. Gretzky was everything.
And I have an interesting story. So I read a lot of... even as a kid, I read a lot of Gretzky books. Me and my brother actually.
You established you read a lot about Jeremy Roenick and Wayne Gretzky and Don Cherry. Yeah. Dude. When Don Cherry dies, man, like that's gonna hit me.
That's
gonna be your. Who's the guy that just died from tragically hit? Gord Downie. That's gonna be your Gord Downie.
That's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
Wow. Way to put a damper on that.
Shout out to that.
But you know what? Don Cherry's always gonna live alive in my.
Sorry. What's your story?
So this is a funny story. So 1999, me and my little brother were both reading Wayne Gretzky books. We're on the GO train, going to the city. I don't remember why. I think maybe my great-grandmother was in the hospital again. Anyway. So this one guy was looking at us from across the train carousel?
Carriage?
Carousel. The train carriage. And he kept looking at us. And I thought it was really weird. And me and my brother were side by side both reading Gretzky books. And he comes to my mother and he goes, "Hi, I noticed that your boys are both Wayne Gretzky fans.
They're both reading.
They're both reading, which youth today never do anymore.
Never anymore, no.
Those damn kids. So my mom goes, oh yeah, they love Wayne Gretzky. And so he says, well, I think either he worked at Esso. He worked at Esso, yes. He worked at Esso. And he says, and Wayne Gretzky is being inducted in the Hall of Fame in a couple of weeks.
Oh, wow.
And I have these limited edition Hall of Fame coins. There's not many are made. They're just made for the Hall of Fame. They're
Do you still have it?
We still have them.
Wow.
And so they came in a little nice 99 cardboard box. And it's
That's a collector's item.
It is. It's actually in the Hall of Fame. It's in the Hall of Fame.
Damn, man.
So
that's actually really cool.
There's actually a Wayne Gretzky doll that's also in the Hall of Fame that I have too. So we have a very limited edition Wayne Gretzky quarter. His face is engraved. That's
really sweet.
Logo is engraved in the back. Yeah, and it comes in its own like little cardboard 99 case. So
that's pretty fun. That's pretty.
So
awesome.
My brother was like, "How much would we get for it?" I'm like, "I'm not selling mine, man. If you want to sell yours, go for it." But
how could you put monetary? I mean, you definitely can put monetary.
I think
value
only like 20,000 of those were made or something.
But like it's intrinsic to you. Like it has value just being in your possession. You know, like that's pretty awesome.
It's really sick.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Who was your
number 2?
Yeah, number 2.
Gotta go number 4, Bobby Orr. Arguably maybe the best player next to Gretzky of all time.
Best defenseman.
Definitely best defenseman. He completely revolutionized the defenseman role. I always say that if you put 5 Gretzkys against 5 Orrs, the 5 Orrs would probably win because not only could they play defense, but they could also play amazing offense. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, Orr's career was cut short by a lot of injuries, particularly to his knees. I think the hockey world was really robbed of that, and
absolutely,
the end-to-end rushes. And I've watched a lot of. My dad's a huge Bobby Orr fan, so I've watched a lot of tape on the guy, and he made goaltenders, defensemen, forwards look like kindergartners, man, like Timbit hockey players. The way he would go and join the rush, and I think he even won a scoring title. I'm not completely sure right at the top of my head, but that guy completely transcended the game. And
absolutely, man.
In an era where hockey wasn't popular and Gretzky was just coming around the corner, Bobby Orr was probably one of the biggest names at the time. And
for sure.
It would have been really cool to see Orr and Gretzky in their prime. Well, Orr in his prime and Gretzky coming into the league. See how they would have faced off against each other. I think Bobby Orr is probably, if he's not the best player, he's definitely the second best.
He's definitely in contention, man. No, you know what? Like you said, he revolutionized the role of a defenseman, and you know what? That iconic shot of him jumping over that guy against St. Louis to score that goal, that is etched in hockey lore forever. He is irreplaceable. So definitely a good pick for number 2. I have to probably go with what's that?
Oh, it's the next thing we're going to talk about after this.
My number 2 pick, living legend, currently playing in the NHL right now for the Calgary Flames, Mr. Jaromir Jagr. I think this guy is literally just playing as long as he can just to be number 2 in every category. But like he is like we were talking about like kids in the league now that were playing with Jagr when Jagr played with their parents when their parents were young. Yeah. It blows my mind that he's still on the ice, that he's still performing. He was obviously not nearly to the level that he was, but he's still playing, man.
He was drafted before you and I were born.
And he has a great sense of humor. He's just like luscious locks, but like usually pretty greasy. But like no, like he's so so synonymous with hockey. He's a living legend. Like we're watching what is easily a shoo-in. The minute he becomes eligible for the Hall of Fame, he's in there. Mm-hmm. Like maybe not right away, but he's definitely like we're watching fame here, man. Like a history.
Yeah.
But yeah. So what's your number 3?
Gordie Howe.
Sorry. Wow.
I was like, I just said Gordie Howe, probably at the time before Gretzky came around, he was the all-time great. Gretzky calls him the best player of all time. Bobby Orr would probably agree as well. Sorry, you just had me laughing so hard that I'm just coughing now.
I know, just working out those chest muscles,
Holy
man.
shit, stop it.
God, it's just like, no, don't do it. No. Flagged for inappropriate content.
Stop it. So, Gordie Howe, at the time, he retired. He played the most amount of games, the most amount of points, all-around player. Mr. Hockey, he was called.
Yeah.
There's nothing more really that can be said about the guy. He was, like Kevin said about Yager, he was a living legend, and it's unfortunate that he's no longer with us, but the spirit of Mr. Hockey is felt around the league and those he came into contact with. The overall, I also read his autobiography too. The overall,
of course.
the overall nicest guy. Wayne Gretzky referred to him as a second father. So that goes to show you about the man. And number 9. Nothing left to be said about that guy.
I'm gonna actually flip the script here because how boring would it be? Because I was gonna say how would be my third, but it's gonna be so boring if we both have 2 of the same picks. So I'm gonna flip the script here.
Okay.
And then so for my third player, I'm gonna go with another current NHLer who is clearly definitive of his class, and it's not Crosby, it's Ovechkin.
Oh. Okay.
In terms of what he's done from an Eastern European perspective, he is a powerhouse. Rocket Richard after Rocket Richard trophy. He is arguably one of the greatest players to not win a Stanley Cup yet. Arguably, there's room for discussion, but it's the fact that you have guys that have you see guys like Ray Ferraro on Sportsnet who have a ring because whatever, but he has. Well, whatever.
Jeff O'Neill has a ring.
Jeff O'Neill does. And you're like, how does he win a Stanley Cup? Because he's riding 4th line center, and Ovechkin's got nothing. So I'm just
he's a center either.
Well, whatever he was, my point remains that there are people considerably less talented than him that have yet to win anything. But in terms of a dominant presence that he's had since entering the league over a decade ago.
And you know what? Interesting about Ovechkin, I don't know where all this hate from Ovechkin came from. I think the guy is an amazing ambassador to the sport. I think he's a great...
Because when you think of hockey now, Crosby, Ovechkin, he's a name that's...
but he's also great with charity. The first couple of years maybe he was a little bombastic, but he's done great stuff with charity all the time and with fans and stuff, and it's weird that even today Ovechkin gets a bad rap, and I don't get where that comes from. Because everything I've heard about people who've come across from him and people who have met him and seen him, he's always a nice guy. So I don't quite get why he has that rap. I mean, it's less now as he's been getting older, but even a couple of years ago, I did not understand that.
You know what? It's he does seem to get some unnecessary hate for sure, and it's definitely not warranted considering what he's done, especially in his philanthropic work. He's very charitable. But no, I'd say in terms of someone I Crosby is just it'd be so easy to give it to Crosby. Yeah. But Ovechkin is still in that class too.
Remember when he wanted the car in the fantasy draft, for the All-Star?
Oh yeah.
He ended up wanting a car for this little girl that I think she had Down syndrome or something. I can't remember now. But he had met with this girl. It was a little girl. It was probably a little 7-year-old girl, and they went on a date. And he wanted to be picked last because he wanted to give the car to her and her family.
That's pretty awesome.
And he didn't tell anybody. He didn't even tell the player. So everyone's laughing and making fun of Ovechkin. Oh, you want to be last? Get the car. And it turns out the bottom 2 players of the draft got the car, and he was so pissed off.
Oh my God! Wow.
Right. So then he ends up buying the car for the family. But everyone was making fun of Ovechkin, and even I was making fun of Ovechkin too because I didn't. But you can see him mouthing that shit. Yeah. After the 2 bottom players get the car, I think it was Nugent Hopkins and Forsberg. But then it came out that he actually wanted it for the family, and everyone's like, "Oh,
why didn't he just tell us?"
Yeah, well, why didn't he just tell the captains
"Look,
make sure I
pick second last
or last, right?" If I was Ovechkin, I probably would have done that. But he does a lot of philanthropic work. So the hate with Ovechkin, he doesn't have any cups. Okay, yeah, he doesn't have any cups, but the other stuff about his personality and stuff is completely
and his playing career. Yeah, no, he's definitely up there, man. But so who rounds out your selection for your Mount Rushmore?
So this was tough because I had between 3 people to pick, and oddly enough, they're all from Quebec. They're all from Quebec. So I am going to go with, because I like equal balance. I'm going with the goaltender, and I'm going to go with Martin Brodeur. He has the most wins. He has the most shutouts. Because of him, we have the trapezoid. I still don't get why we have the trapezoid. It's kind of stupid,
but regardless,
it's the dumbest rule that came out of that lockout. he played a long time, and he's won 3 Stanley Cups, and he scored, I think, like 2 or 3 goals too. Like, people forget that. So for what Gretzky is in his position and what Orr is for his position, I'm rounding out my roster with a goaltender. And statistically speaking, because we can argue ad nauseum about who is the most talented goaltender to ever play in the league.
But you're splitting hairs at that point.
Exactly. But I'm going to go with Martin Brodeur. So I got 2 forwards, a D, and a goalie.
There you go.
That's you go with your number 4, and then I'll talk about the 2 that I was thinking about.
Yeah, so like my last pick would probably be, again, a goalie, not Brodeur, but Patrick Waugh, just in terms of just the history around Waugh, the dramatic departure from Montreal, leaving him in goal for that many, leaving him in net for that many goals, and then just the way it ended, but such a historic career for arguably one of the best goaltenders of all time.
And he did bring the butterfly stance to goaltending. So it was a stand-up goaltender.
Mm-hmm. So like Waugh is definitely in that conversation with Dominic Hasek, with all these other guys, like so good in their heyday. But like Brodeur might be number 1, but I'd say Waugh could be a close number 2.
Okay.
But yeah, so who are some of your runners up?
So now I had 2 of them. Originally my 4th was going to be rounded out with Maurice Richard. Just because he was a cultural, because he was that too, but he was a cultural icon in Quebec, and he was the face of the province for many years, and Montreal adored him. And again, I went with Brodeur because I thought maybe you have to have a goaltender there, right, to round it out. But Maurice Richard was going to be one of them. Because he was the face of the NHL, he was the face of Quebec. Mm-hmm. A lot of people back then wanted to wear number 9. Well, I wore number 9 for a year because of Richard. People wanted to get their haircuts like Maurice Richard. Everywhere you went in Montreal, Maurice Richard was like kind of a god.
Yeah.
He was a god to them. And he was much different from the Guy Lafleurs, the Bernie Boom Boom Geoffrions out there, like that were still kind of around the same era, the Jean Beliveaus. Although he could be up there. He could have been up there too. So, but I also had another one was Mario Lemieux because he was a dick to me when I kind of met him, but I shouldn't say that.
No, you shouldn't say that.
I shouldn't say that. Not a dick, but let's say very, very, very standoffish.
Yeah,
let's go with that.
Sure.
But I think point per game in a career, Lemieux's got Gretzky beat.
It's pretty good, man.
And if it wasn't for the back issues, if it wasn't for
adopting Sidney Crosby, then it's just like he would have been playing.
If it wasn't for the cancer, if it wasn't for a bunch of things, this guy would have had 200 points in a season.
Yeah.
This guy probably would have been very, very close, if not right at the cusp of Gretzky's career totals.
Now, I don't know for sure, but was Lemieux partially responsible for their resurgence as an organization?
Oh, he was Pittsburgh was a garbage team till he came into play. Now, he didn't want to wear the jersey, but he, unlike Lindros, actually went through with it. I remember the reason why he didn't want to go to Pittsburgh. I think it was because that Pittsburgh was tanking like crazy to get him, and I think he didn't respect that at the time, or at least that's the thing he was telling the press. But it was either New Jersey or Pittsburgh, because back then they didn't have a lottery. It was whoever had the least amount of points gets first overall. And New Jersey and Pittsburgh were going head to head about
just seeing who was worse. Yeah,
and
no Oilers sneaking in.
Oh, damn! So salty still about that. But Lemieux, I think he was a big body. He had an amazing shot, amazing passing. He was the prototypical perfect player. Mm-hmm. And even his last season or two, he was still dominating the game. Unfortunately, the back issues were just a problem for him. And if you want to see his wizardry, like 2002 Olympics against the Czech Republic, my God. The behind-the-leg pass, that was probably the only time.
That 2002 Olympic team for Canada was just like way too overpowered, man.
Well, they still struggled, but that between-the-leg pass, he didn't even touch the puck, and that's the only time I've ever seen a player not touch a puck and get credited with an assist, because it was the way. It was beautiful. It was beautiful, and then somehow Hasek rolls in the back of the net. I'm going like, what the hell? So, but Lemieux, I think, could have maybe even if he did play full seasons, he probably might have beaten Gretzky's career total, because point per game, Lemieux's like 1.9 or something. Gretzky's like 1.8. So like anything could have happened. And
but we don't live in that reality. We live in this one, and what we know is what happened. Yes. And like you said, it's just
so like, Richard, cultural icon. Lemieux, probably one of the most complete players in the game.
But you know,
and he didn't have the supporting cast that Gretzky did. Gretzky had Messier. He had Coffey and all these guys, and
decent Oilers.
Lemieux had a decent, supporting cast, and he won 2 cups, but he didn't have the amount of depth that the Oilers in their heyday had.
Yeah, for sure.
So he had less to play with. So, I mean, you can argue Yager, Francis, and even Paul Coffey too. So, but those would be my pick. But big trade that happened a couple of days ago.
Not even taking a break, not even a breath for a segue. We're just kidding, because Michael's like, oh, we're running out of time, man.
No. So I'm looking on my phone here. So Sami Vatanen finally gets traded. That was a big thing that was going around. TSN kept thinking that he was going to go to the Leafs.
Of course.
Because
why not? It's a media market in Toronto.
Drew Doughty, he's talking about maybe
not.
If he's going to the Leafs.
No, if I hear one more thing from Tim and Sid where they're saying like, oh, he's guaranteed to leave, I'm like, trigger! Oh my god, it pisses me off, man. It's just so.
But I will say this though. I stopped saying it will never happen after the Babcock thing, because
anything's possible.
There were a couple of Leaf fans that were going, "Oh, Babcock's coming to Toronto." And I'd be like, "Oh, you got to be ridiculously stupid to go there.
You got to be pretty gone." But no, he went anyway, and then here we are.
So
Vatanen is going.
Vatanen's going to the Devils for Adam Henrique, a depth center in Joseph Blandisi, and a 3rd-round pick. The Devils will send a conditional 3rd-round pick to the Devils. Blandisi.
I love it how when we don't know who the player is, we say depth player. We have no clue who he is.
No.
But everyone is just like, and they get a depth player because they just like disposable. Because like, I love that. That is, it's so funny. But, Michael's looking up his stats right now.
Yeah, I'm looking at his stats.
But yeah, no, so this is a big deal. So what is Sami Vatanen's totals, though, in terms of a career?
So Vatanen's been kind of struggling this year as Adam Henrique. But the problem is that
the Ducks sound like an OG Devil, though.
He is an OG Devil, but the Ducks have had some injury issues. Kessler's gone, although everyone in the world's pretty much happy about that. Getzlaf, I love Getzlaf. Getzlaf is gone.
So like Corey Perry's just like, who am I playing with?
Exactly. So when they come back, though, man, Adam Henrique is a 3rd center on your team with Getzlaf, Kessler, and Henrique. That's going to be a dominant team.
That's hoping that Henrique gets back to form.
Right, but the Ducks also have a plethora of defensemen, and Vatanen's name had been in the mix for a while. So it's interesting, though, that they had to surrender some picks to Las Vegas for taking them, but I guess they wanted some. I guess this is why they would have done this, so that they
Vegas
could
or Devils?
To Vegas, like why they would hold on to Vatanen.
Okay. Gotcha.
To have like a good return. I think they got a decent return, especially if Henrique ends up re-signing.
The depth player is useless, so...
I don't think he's useless. He hasn't played in the NHL this season, but last year, 27 games, 9 points, 41 games the year before, 17 points.
Depth player.
So Vatanen... So Vatanen, we're just sorry to be doing this, guys. It's hard to do this on the top of our head.
No, but it's just like
Vatanen. He's been struggling. He's only has 1 goal, 3 points, 4 points.
Is he defense?
He's a defense. I don't know. He's a puck moving defenseman. He won't score a lot, but he does contribute offensively. And I'm looking at Adam Henrique right now. He's a streaky player. He's much like Pacioretty in the sense that he'll get you your 25, maybe even 30 goals.
Yeah,
but
inconsistently.
He'll have 4 bad games, 2 good games, that kind of thing. This year's not been too bad. 24 games played, 14 points. That's pretty normal for him. Maybe a little dip there, but you know what? It's actually interesting because Taylor Hall used to play with him in junior, and he was really excited to be playing with Adam Henrique back in Jersey now. Well, that lasted
all of a year.
And
all right, peace.
A year change. So he's a good. It's a good move, I think, for both teams because New Jersey needed a defenseman. The Ducks needed a center now that both their top 2 centers are out for a while. So I think it works out.
Okay, shifting gears here. The video actually cut out, so we're recording this now after the fact because my camera sucks. Shout out to Nikon. So we basically, like before we got cut off, we were talking about Henrique or some shit. I don't even fucking know. But
oh my god! Thanks for listening. So overall, Even trade.
Moral of that 5 minutes, it was okay. So why don't we have our own Jay and Dan TV show?
You know what, man? After this, I don't see it happening.
Probably not. But yeah, so last minute of play.
Or last few minutes of play.
Yeah, because we got another half an hour now.
We're gonna take our time right here.
All right. So Michael came to me with an interesting question, and I've experienced this too, dating people who don't really care about hockey that much. And what was your question, Michael? I don't want to take it away from
Actually, let me go into WhatsApp.
Let's look this up. Kevin, motherfucker, you keep sending voice messages, and I'm just like, why can't you just text?
If you're a puckhead and you are dating someone who isn't, how do you introduce them to the sport? How do you get them to like it?
Which is a question that's baffled many men and women over the years. How do you get your significant other interested in a sport that they're not interested in? How do you make it tantalizing? My whole excuse is you do things that they want to do, and they do things that you want to do. It's called being in a mature relationship, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about very shallow. We're talking about like we're only doing things that I want to do, which is clearly the best kind of relationship. Just kidding. But yeah, no, you know what? It's interesting because I've had this dilemma as well, where I've tried to introduce women that I'm dating into hockey. Now, fortunately, there have been a couple of people that actually enjoyed hockey, so that wasn't bad. But for the other ones that didn't really like it, it was interesting. They just didn't watch it. It was a shame. Like I'd be like freaking out over the Sabres win, which never happens. But they'd be like, "Oh, like what's going on, man?" And I'm just like, "Oh, it's a big deal." And they're like, "Is it?" I'm like, "Yes, it is." Shout out to you guys, and you know who you are. But
I was thinking today, I'm like, God, are we going to be professional today?
Nope.
I forgot to go through that with you.
Yep. But yeah, no. So you know what? It's interesting. Like I found what worked for me was just what I found was that we kind of went back and forth, right? Like if they weren't interested in hockey, one day we watch a TV show she liked, and the next day we watch a game that I like. It's quid pro quo.
Okay.
Scratch my back, I scratch yours. But what about you, man? What have you found?
Well, my experience is not nearly as, how do I say this, extensive?
Yeah.
Do I go extensive?
I was just gonna say.
Extensive.
There you go, man.
Yeah, all right. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thanks, buddy. What? Oh, right. So my experience is not as extensive as Kevin's, but they've been willing to give it a shot. I mean, not that many. Really not that many. Okay, so camera cracked out again.
But it's gonna be a bitch to edit.
Well, good luck with that.
Yeah.
So, I'm the idea man, you know?
You're the social media guy.
Right. So, in my experience, limited as it is, there's compromise. Hopefully they see the light. I have yet to try that, in terms of hockey, but, if it makes you happy, and if they're a good person and they're a great significant other, boyfriend, girlfriend, no matter who, or then they'll be happy. Unlike a certain someone who just got bored and wanted to watch Sex and the City again.
Was that you?
No.
Who was that? It was you.
Yeah, whoever it is dead to me now. It was dead to me now. So
well, listen, guys, thank you so much for watching another episode of this. We might do another one depending on what little input we get from you guys. So we'll probably do another one because Mal will be still away on vacation. No.
Maybe.
But yeah, no, so thank you guys for watching. This has been Mock 2.0, 3.0 actually, Hoser Hockey Hour. My name's
Matt,
Kevin.
you're missed.
This is Michael.
Matt,
we're gonna shoot the thumbnail for this video. Peace out, bitches.
I'm so